So good morning everyone. Today I am going to discuss acid base under free energy in chemical equilibrium chapter. So all of you know acid base, all of you go through this acid base chapter okay in class 10 level, 11, 12 level. So before going through the acid base chapter we should know some common term. Okay, so first non-conductor. So those substances which do not show the flow of current or electricity. So non-metals, plastic, rubber, wood, etc. Exceptional case, graphite is non-metal but shows conductivity due to motion of free electrons. Conductors. Those substances which shows conductivity or flow of current are called conductors, and it is kind of two types. One is metal conductor. So metallic conductor, those conductor which shows conductivity due to motion of free electrons. Resistance increases with temperature, so all metals and graphite is under of metallic conductor, or example of metallic conductor. Next, ionic conductor. Those conductors which shows conductivity due to movement of free ions. Ions are in free state in the solutions of ionic compounds, such as for example NaCl. Okay, sodium chloride ionic compound, when it dissolve in water, what will happen in aqueous solution? It gives Na plus O and Cl minus ions. So on passing electric current through the solutions, ions moves toward oppositely charged electrode. So after NaCl dissolve in water, if you pass electric current, then what will happen? Ion moves towards opposite charged electrodes. That is, cation moves towards cathode, negative electrode, and anion moves towards anode, that is positive electrode. So current flows through the solution due to the movement of ions. Resistance decrease with temperature. So movement of ions through the solution of electrolyte towards oppositely charged electrodes. So according to strength of ionic conductor are of two types, strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte. So those ionic conductors, these are the substances which completely dissociate into ions in aqueous solutions. So these are the substances which completely dissociate into ions are called strong electrolyte, as for example NaCl, KCl, HCl. So for strong electrolyte, the value of degree of dissociation is 100%. Now the another important term, degree of dissociation. In the next slide we will discuss what is this. So for strong electrolyte, alpha is 100%, that is 1, because strong electrolyte completely dissociate into ions. So as strong electrolyte are completely deionized in aqueous solution, therefore their ionization is represented by putting a single arrow pointing towards right. Simple. HCl, when dissolved in water, it gives H3 positive plus Cl minus, that is H plus Cl minus. As H plus does not exist in aqueous solution, it will form hydronium ion, because this lone pair of oxygen, so lone pair residing on oxygen accept this H plus ions and become H3 positive ions. So that is called hydronium ions. Similarly, another strong electrolyte, strong base NOH, it dissociates into Na plus plus OH minus. Next, weak electrolyte. Those electrolytes which are partially ionized in aqueous solutions are feebly dissociated into ions. So those electrolytes which has a tendency to dissociate very little extent. These are the substances which dissociate very little extent, are feebly dissociated, are called weak electrolyte. In case of weak electrolyte, as they are partly ionized, equilibrium is set up between the ions and unionized electrolyte. So acetic acid reacts with water, you get acetate ions and hydronium ions. How hydronium ions? These H plus take up by lone pair of oxygen, so become hydronium ions. So the equilibrium established between these acetate ions and acetic acid. Clear? So now in general, the ionization of weak electrolyte such as AB solid, okay, so solid plus aqueous, and in solution A plus B minus. So what will happen? Equilibrium constant, we know from the chemical equilibrium, product of molar concentration by reactant molar concentration, product of molar concentration of A into molar concentration of B by AB, that is called K. Here Ki means ionization constant. So is represented as follows: such an equilibrium is called ionic equilibrium between the ions and the undissociated electrolyte. Applying the law of chemical equilibrium, we can say Ki equals to molar concentration of A plus molar concentration of B minus by AB. Now another term, strong acid, strong base, weak acids, weak base. Strong acids, H2SO4, HCl, HNO3, HCl4, H2SO5, HBr, HI, that will there gives Ag protons. Strong base, KOH, NOH, barium hydroxide, cesium hydroxide, rubidium hydroxides. Similarly, weak acid, HCN, acetic acids, formic acids, carbonic acid, phosphorus acid, phosphoric acid, barium hydroxides, boron hydroxides, boric acid, H3BO3. Weak base, ammonium hydroxide, copper hydroxide, zinc hydroxide, ferric hydroxide, aluminum hydroxides. So these are the acid base, strong acid, strong base. Now actually what is acid? The word acid has been derived from Latin word acidus, meaning sour. Acids are known to turn blue litmus paper into red. Acids are known to turn blue litmus paper into red and liberate hydrogen on reacting with active metals. Similarly, bases are known to turn red litmus paper blue and taste bitter and feel soppy. Okay. Now the basicity with respect to acid. The number of hydrogen ions which can be produced per molecule are irrepressible. Okay. First, monobasic acid. Monobasic means simply it gives one H plus ions. Basicity is 1. Okay. Look. So this is the HNO3 plus water. It gives only one H plus or irrepressible H plus ions that take up by water, hydrogen ion, NO3 minus. So basicity of nitric acid is 1. Similarly, dibasic acid, it gives 2 H plus ions. So this H2SO4 in the first step gives 1 H plus. Again HSO4 minus dissociate into SO4 2 minus H3 positive. So in step 1 it gives H plus, step 2 gives another H plus. So total number H plus 2. So repressible hydrogen 2. So that's why it is called basicity is 2. So similarly, this is monobasic acid, dibasic acid, again tribasic acids. Okay, let's move on. Tribasic acid. It ionizes aqueous solutions to give 3 H plus ions. We know H3PO4 when react with water, what will happen? We get H2PO4 minus and hydronium ions in step 1. It also contains 2 another H plus ions repressible. So in the second step, again H2PO4 loses another H plus. So HPO4 2 minus plus hydronium ions. Again it contains 1 H plus which dissociates into P4 3 minus plus the hydronium ion. So total number of repressible hydrogen is 3. So that's why this basicity is 3. Okay. Now on the basis of molecular composition of acids, okay, we know hydrazine, acid containing hydrogen and non-metallic elements other than oxygen, that I have discussed in the last video lecture in hydrogen bonding, HCl, HBr, HI, etc. Similarly, oxyacids, acids having hydrogen, one non-metal and oxygen, H2SO4, nitric acid, etc. Tribasic acid, ionization in aqueous solution to give 3 H plus ions. Already I have discussed. Now come to monoacidic alkali. In case of acid, monobasic. In case of base, monoacidic alkali. That is acidity is 1. So sodium hydroxide it loses or gives one OH minus ions. It should be Na plus, not NaH plus. By mistake it has been written as a NaH plus. It should be Na plus. That I will correct it. Okay. So it will be Na plus plus OH minus. That means it will produce one OH minus ions. Similarly, dying acidic base, acidity is 2. Say for example, calcium hydroxide, it gives calcium 2 plus 2 OH minus ions. So that's why it gives 2 OH minus ions per molecule. So acidity is 2. Okay. Now degree of dissociation or degree of ionization, which is denoted alpha. So what is the degree of dissociation? The degree of dissociation of an electrolyte is the fraction of 1 mole of electrolyte that dissociates under given condition. So degree of dissociation of an electrolyte, is the fraction of 1 mole of electrolyte that dissociates under given conditions. As simple, alpha equals to number of moles dissociated by number of moles taken initially. How many moles dissociated by how many moles taken initially. So alpha number of moles dissociated by number of moles taken. Now there are so many factors on which alpha depends. So first one is dilution. Okay, alpha proportional to root V. If volume increases, alpha increases. If alpha increases, more number of ions increases. Degree of dissociation also increases. So on dilution, degree of dissociation increases. Now in temperature. On increasing temperature, what will happen? Degree of dissociation also increases due to producing a more number of ions. Next, nature of electrolyte. For strong electrolyte, degree of dissociation is 100%, as I told you a little ago. Okay. But in weak electrolyte, it is very much less due to poor dissociation. So first, strong electrolyte, it is 1, and it is very less for a weak electrolyte, and it is very feebly dissociated into ions. Now nature of solvent. If dielectric constant, which is denoted mu, increases, then degree of dissociation also increases. You know, the dielectric constant of water is maximum 81 here. Next D2O 79, then nonpolar benzene 2.5. Okay, so dilution number 1 factor, number 2 temperature, number 3 nature of electrolyte, number 4 nature of solvent. Now next point, mixing of ions, that is first one is common ion effect. So ammonium hydroxide weak base, it dissociates into ammonium ions plus OH minus ions. If we mix ammonium chloride, what will happen? Which dissociates into ammonium ions plus Cl minus ions. Okay, so this is the ammonium ions plus OH minus, ammonium ions plus Cl minus ions. Due to the presence of common ions, the ammonium ion concentration increases in the right hand side. So in the forward directions, ammonium ion concentration increases. So what will happen? The equilibrium will shift towards left or backward directions. So degree of dissociation decreases according to Lars-Adler's principles. So due to the common ion, degree of dissociation decreases. Okay. Next, odd ion effect. Ammonium hydroxide, again this is NH4 plus OH minus. If you mix HCl instead of ammonium chloride, what will happen? We get H plus Cl minus, but here no common ions in the right hand side or forward directions. But due to the mixing of ions, odd ions, NH4 H plus. So due to the mixing of odd ion, concentration of OH minus will decrease. Due to the mixing of odd ion, concentration of OH minus ion will decrease. Okay. That is, equilibrium will shift forward directions. So degree of dissociation increases. So equilibrium will shift. That is, we get more number of ammonium ions and OH minus ions. So that's why if you mix odd ion, then due to odd ion effect, degree of dissociation increases. But due to common ion effect, degree of dissociation decreases due to the increase of concentration of common ion in the forward directions. So that is the factors on which degree of dissociation depends. Again I tell you, the degree of dissociation depends on dilutions, temperature, nature of electrolyte, nature of solvent, and common ion and odd ion. Okay. Next, Oswald dilution law for weak binary electrolyte. Why? Because you have to establish the Oswald dilution law, or you have to know that, because we get these relations. In order to reach these relations, we should know the Oswald dilution law, because degree of dissociation inversely proportional to concentrations. If concentration increases, then degree of dissociation also decreases. If concentration decreases, then alpha increases. Okay, so consider a weak binary electrolyte AB that dissociates into water as a right hand side, AB, A plus, B minus. Initially concentration of AB before starting the reaction C, then the concentration of basically 0 for A plus and 0 for B minus. Concentration at equilibrium, what will happen? If the concentration of A, B after starting reaction C alpha, then it should be equilibrium C into 1 minus alpha concentration of AB. Now applying chemical equilibrium, we know Ki, ionization constant or dissociation constant, equals to product molar concentration of A plus into molar concentration of B minus by AB, equals to C alpha into C alpha by C into 1 minus alpha. So C alpha square by 1 minus alpha. As you know, 1 minus alpha tends to 1, so we get dissociation constant equals to alpha square C, or we can write alpha equals to root K by C. So that is the relation. We get alpha equals to root K by C. That means alpha inversely proportional to concentration. Okay. Again, you know concentration equals to N by V, number of moles by volume. Okay. So that is the Oswald dilution law. So from Oswald dilution law, we can say for a weak binary electrolyte at infinite dilution, degree of dissociation is inversely proportional to concentration. Now limitation of Oswald dilution law. It is applicable for strong electrolyte. Sorry, it is not applicable for strong electrolyte. It is applicable for weak electrolyte, and it is not applicable for saturated solution. Clear? Now strength of acid and base. Strength of acid and base. How will you determine the strength of acid and base? Strength of acid or base depends on the extent of its ionization. Strength of acid or base depends on the extent of its ionization. Hence, equilibrium constant K or Kb, K for acid, Kb for base, respectively for the following equilibria, give a quantitative measurement of the strength of acid or base. Okay. The larger the value of K or Kb, the larger the value of K or Kb, the more complete the ionization. If the value of K or Kb is higher, higher will be the completion of ionization, higher will be the concentration of H3O positive or OH minus ions, because equilibrium will shift right hand side forward directions, so we get more number of H plus ions or OH minus ions. So again I tell you, strength of acid or base depends on the extent of ionization. Hence equilibrium constant K or Kb respectively of the following equilibria give a quantitative measurement of strength of acid base. So larger the value of K or Kb, more will be the ionization, higher will be the concentration of hydronium ion or OH minus ions, stronger is the acid or base. Very simple. Now Ha plus water, you get a hydronium ion A minus, so Ka, H3 positive molar concentration into A minus by Ha. Similarly this, okay, here water as a solvent. Okay, so that is the strength of acid and base. Now the first one, Arrhenius concept of acid and base, very important. So what Arrhenius stated? Now in 1884, Arrhenius gave a theory called Arrhenius concept to explain the ionization of strong and weak electrolyte in water. So in 1884, Arrhenius gave a theory called Arrhenius concept to explain the ionization of strong and weak electrolyte in water. According to Arrhenius concept, an acid is a compound which gives 3 H plus ions when dissolved in water. So acid, according to Arrhenius, acid is a substance which gives H plus ions in aqueous solution. Next, move on. Take examples. HX halide plus water you get, you know what will happen? Lone pair of oxygen gets H plus. Okay, so it becomes hydrogen ions plus X minus. So a base proton H plus is very reactive and cannot exist freely. According to Arrhenius, as I told you, okay, H plus does not exist actually. It exists in aqueous solution as a hydrogen ion because lone pair of water molecule accept this proton and form hydronium ion in aqueous solution. Thus, it bonds to oxygen atom of a solvent water molecules to give trigonal pyramidal hydronium ion H3O positive. So H plus ions does this disperse its charge density as it is very high. So after forming H3O positive, it becomes relatively more stable. Similarly, according to Arrhenius concept, a base is a compound which gives free hydroxyl ions when dissolved in water. Similarly, base means which gives OH minus and aqueous solution. Arrhenius acid means which give H plus and aqueous solutions. So MOH, M plus OH minus, so that's why it is called Arrhenius base. So hydroxyl ion also exists in hydrated form in the aqueous solution. Now limitation of Arrhenius theory. What is the limitation? First one, limited to aqueous solution only. It is limited for aqueous solution only. This concept is limited only to aqueous solution of the compound. That means Arrhenius defined acid and base considering aqueous solution. In its absence, it is unable to explain the acidic basic character of substance. Okay, very fine. I think you understood. Next, nature of hydrogen ion in aqueous solution. Nature of hydrogen ion in aqueous solution. According to Arrhenius, acid gives H plus ion. According to Arrhenius, acid gives H plus ions. Acid gives H plus ions. It should be okay. So according to Arrhenius, acid gives H plus ions in aqueous solution, but recent researches have shown that H plus ion in acid solution does not exist as such, but it gets hydrated or attracted towards water molecule to form hydronium ion. As I told you, what H plus does not exist in aqueous solutions, actually it exists as a hydronium ions. So H plus aqueous water you get hydronium ions. Okay, so these are the limitation or drawback of the Arrhenius theory. Third one is acid and base without H plus OH minus ions. These are the number of substances, like we have so many substances like carbon dioxide, SO2, SO3, etc., which do not contain any hydrogen. Okay, carbon dioxide, SO2 and SO3, which do not contain any hydrogen but still are acid. Okay, this is very important. So as you know, these are the number of substances like carbon dioxide, SO2 and SO3, which do not contain any hydrogen but are acid. Similarly, the substance like ammonia, sodium carbonate, calcium oxide do not contain any hydroxyl group, but are also known as basic. So Arrhenius was not able to explain this. So there are so many substances which does not contain any H plus or OH minus ion, but till they are called as a acid and base. Okay, so CO2, reacts with water to form carbonic acid, H2CO3. In a cold drinks, you are inserting carbon dioxide gas which dissolve in water to form carbonic acids. Okay, that's slightly acidic, less than pH 7. So this is the thing. This is the limitation of Arrhenius theory. This is very important also. Write down the limitation or drawback of Arrhenius theory. Number 2 is Bronsted-Lowry acid and base. Bronsted-Lowry acid and base. So Bronsted, a Danish chemist, and Lowry, an English chemist, proposed this concept simultaneously and independently in 1923. So in 1923, Bronsted, a Danish chemist, and Lowry, English chemist, proposed this concept simultaneously. So an acid is a substance or molecule which has a tendency to donate proton. So according to Bronsted, he defined acid as a proton donor. So that is the substance which has a tendency to donate proton, and base is a substance which has a tendency to accept proton. So base is a substance which has a tendency to accept proton. So that is the acid and base with respect to Bronsted and Lowry concept. Okay, so Bronsted-Lowry concept, acid is a substance which has a tendency to donate proton. Similarly, base is a substance which donate proton, which accept protons are called Bronsted base. So Bronsted base is a substance which has a tendency to accept proton, and Bronsted acid, which is a substance with a tendency to donate proton. So thus an acid is a proton donor species and base is a proton acceptor species. So acid is a proton donor species and base is a proton acceptor species. So that is I have discussed the limitation of Arrhenius theory, the concept of Bronsted-Lowry acid base, why they define acid and base. Okay, so one is donate proton, another is accept proton. Similarly, the Arrhenius theory and its limitation. Next, move on another slide. Okay. Now NH4 plus acts as a Bronsted acid. NH4 plus as a Bronsted acid, while OH minus acts as a Bronsted base. So NH4 plus acts as a Bronsted acid, while OH minus acts as a Bronsted base. This acid base pair that differs only by one proton is called conjugate acid base pair. Therefore, OH minus is called conjugate base of an acid water. So OH minus is called conjugate base of an acid water, and NH4 plus is called conjugate acid of this base NH3. So if Bronsted acid is strong acid, then its conjugate base is weak base, and vice versa. So it may be noted that conjugate acid has an extra one proton. Each conjugate base has one less protons. So what the Bronsted theory says, the ammonium ions, NH4 plus ions acts as a Bronsted acids, while OH minus ion acts as a Bronsted base. The acid base pair that differs only by one proton is called conjugate acid base pair. Therefore, OH minus ion is called conjugate base. OH minus ion is called conjugate base of an acid water, and NH4 plus is called conjugate acid of the base ammonia. If Bronsted acid is a strong acid, then its conjugate base is weak, and vice versa. It may be noted that conjugate acids an extra proton, each conjugate base has one less proton. So now look, consider example of dissolution of ammonia in water represented by following equations. So ammonia aqueous water liquid, we get ammonium ions, we take up protons from what? From water molecules. So add proton, you see add proton, here you add proton, then it becomes NH4 plus means due to the lone pair engagement with the or take up H plus. Okay, so NH3 plus water we get NH4 plus OH minus. So similarly here loss of proton, it will become OH minus, conjugate base. Okay, conjugate base. So conjugate acid, ammonia conjugate acid, ammonium ions, and conjugate acid of ammonium ions, NH3. Okay, similarly in case of OH minus conjugate base, so it's water is a conjugate acid. So this is the loss of proton, OH minus conjugate base, this is the conjugate acid. Ammonium ions is a conjugate acid. So ammonium ion conjugate acid. So consider the example of ionization of hydrochloric acid in water. HCl aqueous acts as an acid by donating proton to water molecules which acts as a base. Okay, look, HCl aqueous plus water you get hydrogen ions plus Cl minus ions. So base, this is the add proton, water takes up one proton, become H plus ions. Now this removes or lost protons, it becomes Cl minus ions. So this is the acid, its conjugate base Cl minus. So this is the base, its conjugate acid is H3 positive. So that I have already discussed you. So this is the example of Bronsted acid and base. So it can be seen in the above equation that the water acts as a base because it accepts the proton. So this species H3 positive is produced when water accepts the proton from HCl. So Cl minus is a conjugate base of HCl, nothing worry. Cl minus is a conjugate base of HCl and HCl is the conjugate acid of base Cl minus. Similarly, water is a conjugate base of an acid H3 positive and H3O is a conjugate acid of base water molecule. Clear? Now this is the two schematic diagram for the Bronsted-Lowry concept. Now amphoteric. What is the amphoteric? It is a substance that can act as an acid as well as base. So it is a substance that can act as well as acid and base, that is called amphoteric. That is called amphoteric. Okay. You see amphoteric, example of amphoteric, HCl plus water, ignore H3 positive plus Cl minus. Similarly NH3 plus water, you get ammonium ions plus OH minus ions. Here water acts as acid. Why? Because this lone pair of oxygen take up this proton, become H3 positive ions and Cl becomes Cl minus. Okay, but in case of base, water acts as a base, means ammonium ion, lone pair of ammonium ion take up this proton of water, it becomes NH4 plus and water becomes OH minus. So that is the amphoteric behavior. Water acts as acid, also base. This is the very important. We should remember these examples because write down the definition of amphoteric or explain amphoteric with proper example or show on reactions, two reactions where water acts as a both acid and base. Now leveling effect. In water solvent, mineral acids appear to be equally strong because of their complete ionization. Water is called here a leveling solvent because it levels all the acids to the same strength. In water solvent, mineral acids appear to be equally strong because of their complete ionizations. In water solvent, mineral acid appear to be equally strong because of their complete ionization. So water is called here leveling solvent because it levels all the acids to the same strength. So all the acids are leveled in the same strength. So that's why this is the purpose of leveling solvent. So in water solvent, mineral acid appears to be equally strong because of their complete ionizations. Okay, so this is the leveling solvent. Next video class I will continue it, leveling solvent. So I hope you enjoy this video. Thanks for watching this video.